What's up, home crew? How y'all doing today? All right, so I put out some information in the last couple weeks, wrote some articles on the website, and I'm getting some, according to people's responses, I wanted to add some definition and or explanation of the reason why I phrase things the way I do. And so you could say that the topic of this video has to do with calling out the ego or shocking the ego. There's been plenty of information shared and that is available to people that basically make the choice of being able to say, you know, the reasons for releasing fear or the reasons for living your life, you know, without fear and so on. Just an example, just fear alone. And so there's plenty of information. I've shared tons of information regarding videos and writings throughout the years. And, you know, it comes to a point where that type of information is already out there. We're at a pivotal, say, time with our collective consciousness here on Earth. And there's choices to be made regarding this shift that we're currently in. And as I share in my workshops, and I've said many times at the beginning of a workshop, is that I am not here to feed your ego. I'm here to assist you in mastering your ego. So I provide you information, but I also am going to put you in situations to where you're going to be, it may flare up your ego and or might trigger your ego in certain situations. It might scare your ego. It might, you know, put you in a situation for which you are not accustomed to and or are conditioned for. Therefore, you're able to make a choice and or an adjustment to be able to see and the different levels of your consciousness that are tied into duality and your ego that is basically, you know, is sort of being orchestrated by your ego. So in a lot of different ways, it's sort of like, give you an example, your ego, okay? An ego is an aspect of our consciousness. It's an aspect that's tied to the physical body. It's not necessarily who we are multidimensionally. It's through what we are experiencing reality through when we're focusing our view of reality through the ego. It's like a filter. So when the words mastering your ego is actually observing how you're actually living your life through your ego and making the choice not to do it. Basically, that's the process of self-mastery and mastering your ego. The ego basically likes information in the format and in a certain sort of like presented to it on a plate, you know, like a plate that you would have food on. And it's like, I like my information presented to me in this way. And therefore, if it's not presented to me in this way, it, you know, I don't like it. And it's offensive to me. It basically, you know, I'd shut it down. That is the triggers. Those are triggers that's happening. That's triggering the ego simply because something is not presented to it in the way for which it wishes to have information presented to it. So, as I said, I'm not providing information to simply feed the ego. I'm not here just to feed the ego and to make the ego feel nice and easy. You are fine. You're beautiful. You sit back and you keep living in fear and everything will be fine. You just keep on doing whatever you're doing. You know, That's what the ego wishes to hear. You know, that you don't have to change and all these other things in order to see things multidimensionally. In order to truly live without fear, you have to make the choice to do it. It's not just going to happen naturally, like say, out of the blue, you're going to wake up and you're not going to have any fear. It's a matter of process of mastering that pattern that you're addicted to, living in ego. You're addicted to, say, the drama and or the hate and the worry and the patterns of worry and everything else. So when the information is provided and or the ego is subjected to something in this reality, it basically said, oh, I don't like that. It's because it's triggering the ego. Us, as a multidimensional being living in a physical body, has the choice at that moment to say, I know this is triggering my ego, but I can tell the ego to calm down. Calm down, ego, chill out, go sit down, relax, everything's fine. We don't have to live through the ego. We don't have to live through the voice of the ego. So when I basically gave the example in one of my writings recently, is that for everyone that wishes to live, to assist in living and or manifesting an earth of harmony and balance, continue reading. For all of you that don't give a shit, I use those words specifically for a reason. For all of you that don't give a shit, simply continue living the way your life however you wish. That's what I'm meaning by calling out the ego in advance of, before, it's basically at the top of the page. It triggered a lot of people. It basically said, oh, that's rude. That's rude. I don't like that because it's not presented to me on the plate for which I am used to. That's rude. That's rude. But really, I provided two different sentences there, and people had the choice to basically choose. Do you truly wish to assist the manifestation of a level of existence on this earth in harmony and balance? Or if you don't give a shit, then you basically keep living the way you do, in fear, in total contraction, and seeing that basically, everything, the chaos in this world, and basically continue to contract and feel that pressure. Because that's what's going on right now in the world. It's the pressure for the ego consciousness, and the collective consciousness of the ego consciousness on this earth is dissolving. It's basically going away. So the pressure is continuing to mount for people to release the ego, basically the voice of the ego, and adjust to the natural vibrational energy of the earth, which is already in harmony and balance. So that is where the pressure is coming on. So if I'm putting out some information that basically some people view as rude or it's out of line or whatever else, I'm basically doing it to assist people, and basically if it triggers anything within you, basically it's giving you the opportunity to basically say, wow, that's exactly what I'm holding on to. And then you, at that split moment, you can make the choice to release that aspect and or that thought form that you are holding on to, and release it. Therefore, you're living more in harmony and balance when you do release it. That's what all of this wild stuff that's going on in the world right now is, because the collective ego consciousness is going away. It is dissolving. Whether the ego, likes it or not, the ego is dissolving. Okay? And so Um, that's it. It's the reason why I provide information that might shock the ego or call out the ego. It's not that I am insensitive and or not compassionate to anyone or anything. It's a matter of I'm providing the opportunity for people to make choices, to release the ego, to release the fear, to release judgment. Not only yourself, but every single thing else in this world. I'm giving you resources and or information to assist you in making choices. That's why I provide the information I do. So I just wanted to share this. The reason why I've been a little bit more, say, direct with the information I've been sharing recently. It's just the same as humor. You know, humor with, like, say, J.P. Sears has been putting out information for a long time. But in this last year, I've seen a lot of people on Facebook make comments, oh, J.P. Sears is, offensive now. He's offensive. He's offending people. Basically, the reason why he's doing what he's doing, he's putting information the way he is, because the humor in itself dissolves and or gets through the barriers of the ego consciousness a lot easier than just simple information. Oh, you're nice, you're beautiful, everything's going to be fine, you continue living how you wish. Humor, in a way, being in actually triggering information, gets through layers. I can see it, the layers of the ego, and really forces the ego to where it puts the ego, not necessarily force, but puts the ego in a uncomfortable situation to where it's got to really see the reflections of its own self and see really what it is, how it's acting. And there's a lot of percentage of the population that still has no freaking clue. It thinks that it is right. It is, they think they're better, and or they're pointing out of everybody else in this, that it is really saying, are you serious? Like, you're living your life, you don't see what's going on right now? And everybody else is like, these people are crazy. And it's like, it is a wild adventure right now. So before I go on any further, that's the reason why I wanted to share this video. Calling out the ego, triggering your ego, is only the opportunity for you to make choices. You can take of it whatever the heck you want. I'm going to continue to do what I'm doing, putting stuff out to challenge the situation, to assist, because I can see exactly what's going on with the collective consciousness, and the dissolving of the collective consciousness of the ego on this earth is going to be more challenging if you continue to hold on to it, any longer. So that's it. Cheers, my friends. Peace out. See you later, ego. Later.